Hello everyone, welcome to Grow Your Future. I'm Zar, CEO of Luxland Investments, and we're joined today by Jade.
Hi.
Mark.
G'day.
And also a very special guest, social media influencer, entrepreneur sensation, Natalie Ann. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
So good to
How
have you.
exciting.
Thanks for coming
so
in.
So intimate and pretty. I like this setting. How is everyone going?
Good.
Good.
How
Thank you
are
for
you?
having me. I'm fabulous. I'm always like on it. I've had a few coffees, a couple of Diet Cokes. I'm all pumped and ready for the show.
I was going to have a coffee beforehand, but I was just
I did call. I was
yeah.
like, does anyone want coffee?
No, we've been trying to have early nights lately, so
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why.
yeah.
Gotta
I
keep
do
the
love,
caffeine.
I am a bit of a
Yeah.
coffee lover though. Love coffee. Smell of it. I feel like I'm drinking it by smelling it, so I'm good. I'm good.
It's definitely my vice.
So Natalie Ann, tell us, what's the latest?
What's the latest? So much. Business is good.
Yep.
Family is good. Husband is amazing. And super grateful and blessed at the moment. It's been an incredible journey so far. I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface though. And I'm really looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, we've been really excited to have you on because, this podcast is about entrepreneurship, personal development, helping others, because there's so many people out there trying to achieve this dream, right?
Yeah.
And it's, from what I can see, you've achieved it. You're
Thank
there,
you.
right? And I just feel that so many of our viewers could take so much value from what you've done and, implement some of those things that you've done. There are struggles, obviously, with
100%.
entrepreneurship, and
Yeah.
I hope to get into that tonight with this podcast, with talking about your journey and, your ups and downs and all of that sort of thing. So tell us a little bit about how it all started for Natalie Ann, take us back, who is Natalie Ann?
Way back.
Way back.
Way back when.
Way back when.
The OG.
Well, we did go a little bit further back
Let's
earlier.
do this.
I have got to get into a better position for this one. As far as school, we'll go kind of that back. I have an amazing family, a phenomenal upbringing, divorced parents. So for me, I guess I had multiple families, which was awesome. I just had more Christmases, more everything. And lots of siblings, lots of cousins. I'm Lebanese, so family culture is really important to us and extremely hospitable. So I guess it's a little background story on me personally. And I didn't love school. I wasn't really good at it. I had a family of hairdressers. My stepfamily were all hairdressers. So early on, I was always in and out of a salon every weekend. I was intoxicated by the scent, the vibe, the smell. Back in the day, they used to smoke, wait for, everything. On a Friday morning, everyone would be waiting for their appointments. And it was always really cool. To me, hairdressers were always rock stars. It was such a cool thing. So I always wanted to be a hairdresser. I had no other aspirations. So I then left school really early. I was 14. In year 9, so I didn't do my school certificate. I don't know what they call it these days. So that was quite early. So no formal education, so to speak, but just a phenomenal work ethic, I guess, installed in me through my family, because they were all just hardworking.
You're saying you started your apprenticeship straight away in hairdressing? Straight
out of school. My parents weren't going to let me leave unless I had an apprenticeship. I started working locally after school. First in a salon around the corner from my house. I used to walk there after school, sweep up, do all the basic sort of duties. And I got really bored really quickly because my skill set was naturally quite high for a 14-year-old because my family were hairdressers. So I could blow dry and all that kind of stuff. And there was this English guy who was on, I guess, vacation, and he was there working to pay the bills. And he's like, this kid is phenomenal, at 14. And he pulls me aside and he says to me, this is not the environment for you. You don't need to be working in a local salon. You need to go straight to the top, go get the best training. I'm from Tony and Guy, and I really want you to do your training there. I had no idea who Tony and Guy was. He showed me a whole bunch of trade press magazines, and he showed me this incredible work. I didn't even know that work existed. Editorial and high fashion and avant-garde type of hair. So I was like, cool. He actually set me up with an interview. And I went and I never looked back. I got the job. I was 14 and 9 months at the time. I was the youngest ever, I guess, indentured apprentice for Tony and Guy. I had an amazing mentor. Her name is Kathy Konarakis. She is still one of my mentors. Still to this day, she comes in and teaches my team. So I've had...
Still at Tony and Guy.
She's still there.
Wow.
She still has her own Tony and Guy salon. And I guess, you know, she was my mentor for such a long time. And I think more so in business than in hair. Her work ethic was phenomenal. Her hustle was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Still to this day, you know, old school bookwork and, you know, in the salon till like 9 o'clock at night, every night. And, you know, her social game's not that strong. I'm helping her in that department. But it's, you know, it's incredible. And I guess it sets a really good example for my team now that they see my mentor, you know, looking after us. And you can still have that good relationship. Just don't burn the hand that feeds you. Do you know what I mean? So that was that. I did take a short break from hairdressing because I think it gets a point in hairdressing where you feel like you don't really want to do it anymore. And I know a lot of hairdressers and beauty professionals get there because emotionally it's quite draining. You know, you're taking on people's, I guess, energy all day. You know, 12, 13 different types of energy all day. So it got to the point where I really wanted a break. I did. And I started working in nightclubs. And worked from home. I still had my, you know, hands in the pie, so to speak. And I started with a small core clientele and worked in nightclubs in marketing and promotions. And I guess I got to really first understand marketing, graphic design, the true essence of, I guess, branding, but on so many different levels. Because back in the day, we'd have nightclub promoters. I don't know if they're still around. I don't go to the clubs anymore.
I don't even think there's nightclubs around.
Besides the casino. But, you know, for me, it was interesting to watch that kind of like unfold because it would be different nights. It's almost like every night had its own brand.
Yeah.
And it was my job to kind of book DJs and create a brand aesthetic around one particular night within the night.
You know, it's funny you say that, Natalie, because Mark's also from nightclubs as well as me.
Hey.
And Jade, you know, obviously lived through a lot
dabbled.
of a lot of the nightclub culture because I was part of it for 10 years. And it really did build a good foundation for me in
100%.
business, right? Like you learn so much, like how to operate the business, number one, but the marketing and promotions behind it. Like it's also transferable to anything else that you do.
But at the time, I don't know if you knew, I didn't know that was laying foundations for me. Like,
No,
I didn't
no
understand
idea.
that until
You're in
now.
the process. You're not gonna realise that it's laying the foundations. 'Cause you're
100%.
just doing it.
Well, you were off your
for me,
head
it
half
was
the
just-
time,
yeah,
so you
see.
wouldn't have known anything.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Who was it? You know, come on now. Let's not be. You know.
Let's be
it's
real,
true.
Mark.
Between the hairdressing side and the nightclub side, there was definitely a lot of time to party. But for me, it was crazy. My husband and I were just driving up Bondi Junction, and we drove past like the whole the old school car park. What street? It's not Spring Street, near Westfields, and it was one of the like car parks I used to fly bomb. Like I was like, useless fact. This is where I used to like fly bomb cars. If you ever got a car flyer, that was me. But it was crazy because
That's how you market back then. Though.
I
Like
did.
you don't do it anymore. But
But you don't. But you do it in different ways.
Yeah, that's right.
And I guess what I did understand is the more cars I bombed, the bigger the event would be. So if you put that down right now into what we're doing today, you know, the more people you reach,
Of course. Yeah.
the faster your numbers
So just
will
for
go.
our viewers and listeners, when we're saying car bombings,
Oh,
what
I
does
don't
it
mean like
Natalie?
blow up in a car. So I would, at my nightclubs, I would, you know, be briefed. Oh yeah, I do realise that people don't understand
This
what
is
I'm
the
talking
nightclub jargon.
It's like when you send an emoji. And you're like,
No.
oh, I shouldn't have said that one.
Yeah, I didn't know what eggplant was until recently. But for me, it was crazy that I would create a flyer. We would brief the graphic designer. You know, we'd have all the, I guess, the font, the text, the color. You know, all of that coming together to create, I guess, the perfect audience for the night. And then once they were printed, they'd be delivered, and I would jump in my RAV4 and pop open the boot and go through and hit every single car that was parked with these flyers on their front windows. You know, and back then it was, you know, it was one of the ways, besides pole posters, that we really learnt to market our businesses.
One of the marketing ways that we still do today.
100%.
You know,
but it's interesting how things have evolved. But I guess for me, in hindsight, it's where I started to lay those marketing and
the fundamentals are the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The fundamentals are still the same. I mean, it was only really about 4 years ago where about 3 years ago we stopped using pole posters. You know, for our other businesses, not so much for Luxland, but for our other businesses that we've had. And 3 years is not long, right? And how quickly we've evolved. But those fundamentals of design, right, reach, all of those things that we do to try and get as many eyeballs onto us,
100%.
you know, it stays the same. It's just a different method now.
Yep.
Keep going, Natalie.
Then I started a business. I opened my first salon.
Which is Natalie, yeah?
No, it will remain nameless. And it was with a bad partner. First time. And I guess I was young and super eager, and I really, really, really wanted a salon. But I guess I was too young, and I think maybe I chose the wrong partner, and I didn't do it the way that I should have. I didn't understand partnership agreements and, you know, just a step. Like, I didn't understand those things. So
God, it sounds like us.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's I'm not going to say it's a generic story, but it really is. I feel like there's
Everyone
so
has to
many
go through
people,
it.
you know, and I love that. I love that I got smacked in the face many a times. So it was the first smack in the face, but I picked up really quickly, and it was a very short stint. But I was kind of like really hesitant to go back into the industry. I'm like, maybe, because I'm all about, I guess, fate. I was like, maybe it's really not for me. Maybe I should stay in the clubs. But my best friend, who I was working for at the time in nightclubs, could see that I wasn't well, and I really needed to get back on my feet and like do hair again. So she told me, and she knew that I'd help her out, that she was running a fashion show at one of the, we remember we used to do those fashion shows at all the clubs.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were trying to add fashion into clubs.
Yeah.
And she's like, the hairdresser pulled out. I was like, no, she did. She's like, yes, she did. She's like, I need you to come and I need you to do hair. You need to help me. And she knew I was never going to say no to her. So I packed my kit, went to one of these events, and she had booked all these photographers. Started a Facebook page for me without me knowing. And I think it was hair.by.nat@live.com was the first email address. And, you know, she basically, all these photographers taking photos, like almost like paparazzi sort of style. But she had like all of these young, hot sort of, who would you sort of see as micro influencers now, and models, and a stylist, and, you know, people with social networks at the time. It was Facebook. And we started sharing all these images, and they started to create traction. And I guess from there it was like people started to inquire. Like, it was the weirdest thing, and my ego was being stroked at the same time. Like, I was starting to be appreciated for my craft, but on a mass scale. Like, I was getting likes on something that I didn't know really existed, like, properly. And then it kind of snowballed from there. I just kept working from home. I always had my home salon. And then I swore in everything I was going to do it again, but I did. I opened another store with another partner. And again, it sort of tilted. I think I'm not against partnerships, but I guess I'm against the wrong partner. And it always has to be yin and yang. It has to be balanced. You need to understand that I was always the workhorse. And I think that doesn't work in the end, because when the profits are shared and you're working harder, there's going to be problems. So again, I ended that partnership and went back to my home. I was like, maybe I just need to stay at home. You know, I was working well. I had a great clientele. I started to build this bridal business. So my arms started to like branch out. So I wasn't only doing like cut and color. I was starting to do bridal gigs. And that was phenomenal money, and it was so satisfying because you get to watch this girl get married, and it was beautiful and very luxury. So I started to really build momentum, and at the time, bridal hair online was the viral content. Like that's what it was the hero shot. It's what I guess girls idolize. It's what the girls wanted to see was the bride. So we started to gain a lot of momentum, a lot more followings. We used to get reposted by larger sort of bridal channels. And then we needed staff. So the first person I put on was my PA, who is still working with me till today. And that was like 6 years ago. 6 years ago. She just had a baby yesterday.
Wow.
So
congratulations to her.
and she still submitted our bus statement 1 hour after she
What a
gave
hustler.
birth. She's crazy.
Very dedicated.
So, she's still with us. And then she was the one who kept pushing me. She was like, Nat, you need to hire someone. I was like, I don't want to do this again. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing a salon. We're going to stay here. You're going to just book my bridal jobs. We'll be fine. This is good. She's like, no. She's like, let's call Dottie, which is her sister. She's like, let her help her on the weekends and let's see what happens. So she started helping us on the weekends, and then it grew into we need a colorist, and then my sister, and then we got evicted. So we needed to find a space. And then my husband, the builder, built me my salon, and we're still there 3 years later.
It's fate.
We have a salon team of 11 now, and they're like my kids. We have an amazing brand. We've gone into education. So there's education, there's the salon, there's the hair care range now, and our bridal business is still our, I guess, little lover on the side.
So how long's that
Isn't
been
that
operating
amazing?
for?
3 years,
Yeah, right.
almost.
So you've grown very quickly.
Yeah, just busted.
In
Yeah.
3 years.
How is that?
Amazing story.
Do you think there's a reason behind that, or?
Timing.
Mhm.
I definitely think it was my time. I worked really, really, really hard for 15 years.
Mm.
I always put my client first. And I guess over time you build this, reputation, which is what people see as a brand. And it's been an amazing journey so far.
Mm.
The explosion of Instagram and Facebook, I guess people have to be careful of it as well, because I didn't realize the amount of inquiries that we were getting and the lack of resources that we had. So it can be not detrimental, but it can be if you're not ready for it. So we just had to recruit without training processes, and then you have to deal with those repercussions. And I guess now we've managed to audit all of that and really kind of pull it back and go, okay, before we scale or take it to the next level, we need to make sure that our business processes, our training manuals, like everything that I guess I've learnt, it's ready to go.
I think just going back to when you just said timing, Nat, I think that is so true, because you just explained all of these adversities that happened to you. You had 2 failed partnerships. But I think those things, I always say to you, I don't think this is happening to me. I think it's happening for me. And you don't really know that things are happening for you
100%.
until you get down the track and you're like, it is my time. I'm meant to be here right now doing this thing, because I've just compounded all of this credibility with my brand.
And hard work.
And right now, here I am. And you can't, and this is the thing that I think people forget, that they see, and another thing that I think people need to be careful with social media, they see people like you, highly successful, that have been through the wars to get to where you are today.
But they only see the instant.
They just see the instant.
Overnight success.
Oh yeah, I love that. It's my favourite one. Or she's doing mad.
Yeah.
I don't even understand what that means.
Yeah, but it's funny what Jade said, because when you're going through those adversity and times of stress, especially with the bad partnerships, you're getting the shit kicked out of you, and it's so bad. You think
You just want to give up.
You think the whole world's caving in.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really bad.
And drama.
I guess the more you go through, the better you can deal with it, as you become stronger. you know, I find that now I embrace those times because I just know that it's happening for me. And long term, if you've got that long term view, you just know that you're going to come out better on the other end. And you're probably still going through,
Of course.
you know, certain struggles here and there. 'Cause
Yeah, we're firefighters.
that's what entrepreneurship is, isn't it?
Yeah.
All we do is put out fires.
Yeah,
Every
we
day.
do.
All day, every day.
And there might be micro ones. Thank God for that.
But-
as long as we're not putting out hair fires, we're good.
Yeah, that would be
That's the way I
interesting
see
though.
it. I was like,
wouldn't
as long as no one's hair falls off, we are fine.
Totally fine. It's been a good day.
Yeah.
But I think, you know those things, when you say small fires, like, but they might have been big ones back, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Being
the
like, whoa.
mindset.
Yeah.
You know, and some
Definitely.
people put it down to age, but I think there's some people that grow and mature very quickly. So I would put that down to, I guess, how much we've gone through as entrepreneurs or business owners or whatever it may be, parents. You know, I think our parents used to go through the same thing. But it's how you're looking at things and how you perceive things. And I think I've become a lot more patient as a business owner. I used to be very short-fused because I felt as though I could do things faster, quicker, better. And then not realizing that, I guess now, in hindsight, those things needed to happen in order for me to create the process in
You've
order
learned
to be
how
able
to
scale.
trust the process now.
Yeah, or create it. For me, it was creating it. Like, I didn't know that, for example, there's a bin. I needed to write a process on putting a bin liner in the bin in order to be able to take the bin out. It's the McDonald's process. You know what I mean?
Let's
And that's
talk
what I
about
said.
process.
It's, yeah, but it's crazy. Like, you know, me and my husband go like, really? Like, you know, do we really need to get... But it's those building blocks that I guess... And things that we can then teach our staff, even if it's an entry level, when they're apprentices, when they're coming into NA, that they understand they're going to learn those life skills. And I guess as any kind of business owner, if you are going to have staff, it's that mentorship that you're taking those
We always
staff
got to remember
on.
as well, it's not their business.
100%.
It's yours, so you're always going to be anal about this and that. And they're
Yeah.
not. It's a paycheck to them sometimes.
And I don't think I have the paycheckers. Like, I don't have them in my life. Because I try and give them more value than anything else. Like, for me, it's like, what do you want? Like, let's sit down as a date week. Let's go out. Let's go out of the space. Let's go off site and be like, okay, what is it that we can work on together? Like, what are your goals? What are you? I mean, my husband jumps in a lot from a HR perspective, and I guess he's like the dad of the business and manages to, I guess, walk our staff through their problems and their journey at the time, because they seem massive to them.
Yeah.
And it is, because it's their boyfriend or their drama or their, one lost their house, whatever it may be. And he's really reasonable like that. And they need that.
Yeah.
They spend more time at home than they do, more time at work than they do at
Yeah,
home.
they do.
Definitely.
And
So
it's
It's
important.
just
It's important
learning.
to
Relatable.
create that culture as well, where they can lean on you for that advice. We've always promoted it through our businesses, where our staff, even our clients, everyone can turn to us, and it becomes draining after a while,
course
because
it does.
but you take on that responsibility being an entrepreneur, right? And we talk about, we don't actually talk a lot about bad stuff about entrepreneurship on this podcast, but
I think people need to know the harsh reality of it, though. I don't think enough people talk about the reality of how hard, how lonely people see this bullshit perception. Can I swear on this channel?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go
They
for
see
it.
this bullshit perception of like the Rolex lifestyle online. They see this placebo effect that I am completely, I guess, a part of. We create this image or brand. And I think that people look to entrepreneurs and think that that's the way that we live. They don't see the backstory because we don't tell them.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it, is that we don't actually... I've never told this story,
It's not marketable.
ever.
And that's why we've created this podcast, because we want to keep it real, right?
Yeah.
We really do want to keep it real. And what I've gone through in the last 10 years of entrepreneurship is hell.
Yeah.
If we don't have kids, but like if I had kids, I'd probably tell them not to go down this path because it's so hard. Like I've said it on this podcast before that if I knew that it was going to be this hard in entrepreneurship, I would just got a job.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, if I knew it was going to be this hard, right? The wins are great, right?
Yeah.
The wins are so good, but it's so emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
On not just yourself, but the people around you.
But I think it's okay to be, a manager. I think it's okay to have a job. I think there's so much pressure at the moment through Instagram, through social. I'm not saying that it's because of that. I'm just saying it's exposed, right? I think that people are feeling this, I need more, what is my purpose? What is it that I'm... But that's because that's what they're surrounded by, But, I mean, my dad put that in me. He used to say to me all the time, he's like, Nat, if you're going to be a garbage collector, make sure you own the run. That was it. You could collect garbage, but make sure you own lots of trucks and they go out and that's your run. So I didn't know any better. Like I was born into it. Like there was no other option for me. But there's lots of options. And I think people need to stop feeling that pressure. I think of this high performance bullshit. Like you either want it, but I think you're born with it. I think you either are gonna live... I could never work for anyone.
Yeah. No,
I just couldn't. Like, there's no... hands... I'd do it all over again. If you said to me, cool, let's shut it all down, what are you going to do? I'm like, okay, we're going to start another business. Like, I'm addicted to that.
Like that.
Look,
I love it.
I couldn't work for anyone either. Like, I could just...
You'd last 5 seconds.
Yeah, it just wouldn't, it wouldn't work. But
1.1 sec. He's like, Instagram, nah, sorry.
It wouldn't work. But what I love about what you just said is that it's okay to be a manager. It's okay to be an employee. And we say that a lot on this podcast because... You are an actual entrepreneur of your own life,
100%.
right? You are. I always say you are the CEO of your own life. So, your boss, for example, is your client.
Yes,
right.
I say that all the time.
So if it's just a mindset shift of going from employee mindset to entrepreneurial mindset, and you can still be an employee with the entrepreneurial mindset,
especially in sales.
That's right.
Of course.
You run your own race really at the end of the day, and you don't have to go out and start a business. You don't have to go and outlay all of this money or whatever it is this time.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's just more so taking control of your life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, which is important, and that's I guess what you've done with your business and why we want to share this story with our viewers, because it's so inspirational and it's motivating because you're so young.
Thank you.
Right, and you've done it in such a short period of time. So, tell us about social media.
What do you want to know?
Well,
such an open-ended.
It is.
You got another 45 minutes. Got another 4 podcasts to go. Thanks, guys.
Well, we've talked about the speed of how you've
Yep.
grown so quickly. Like, do you think you would have been able to do it without social media?
100% not. Like I am
That's so
a
powerful.
full product of social media. My business, my brand, who relates to us, who comes to see us, who, if you audit my customer base and you say, how did you find Natalie Ann? They will say, Facebook, Instagram, someone tagged me. My friend told me, who then found you on Facebook or Instagram. So 100% not. I would probably have a business and I would be doing different types of marketing. I'd probably be doing loads of paid Facebook ads. But there is no way in the world at the speed I would be where I am today.
Yeah, it's
The power of social media.
Yeah. We've done the same here. Like, it's how much we've grown in the last 18 months here, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without social media. The
100%.
reach is just incredible.
Yep.
Right, and we've got this opportunity now to get in front of literally 7 billion people in the world.
Amen.
Just finding a way to do that, and I think people have the same opportunity to do that as well, but it's just around navigating it too, isn't it?
I just think, like, I'm not gonna, like, I'm so sick to death of sort of talking about whether people should be on or off it. I think I'm beyond that conversation now, with all due respect. People that listen to your podcast are aware of the fact that they need to be on it.
Yeah.
So let's be real. Yes, businesses need to be on social media. it's just understanding the creative, the social, the engagement, the audience, the distribution. As long as you understand the content and how to distribute that content, where to distribute that content, understanding your audience. Like, I think people put so much pressure on the word social media and they don't even know what it is. Like, they don't understand that it's a way that you can talk to billions of people on this. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I'm still having conversations with people to get on it. I'm like, really? Like, you don't have a business profile? Oh yeah, I've been told that you get shadow banned. I'm like, stop, just get on. You need analytics, you need a business profile. It adds a layer of branding. You don't look like a business if you don't have a business profile. Like, it's just basic stuff. It's taking over
the website now. So who was I talking to? I think it was our digital bloke the other day, and I was saying, we'll put the website in, and he was like, what for?
Well,
what's getting, I mean, for us anyway, because we do a lot of explanation through our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Our Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
And it's this pressure.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like most people have this. I speak to a lot of beauty professionals and more recently lots of different people about their businesses and their perception of social media. And I don't think you need to feel there's this pressure on that you need to be on multiple platforms, right? You don't need to have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, LinkedIn. You don't need them all, right? Choose two and be really good with it. You know, understand one first. Let's choose this and be like, cool. Not only that, you understand you have a business. I would hope that you would understand your audience. You would understand your demographic. If they are of X age, you need to be on X platform. But I think people are making it too fluffy. They're making it, like, I listen to so many different social media, I guess, seminars and podcasts. And there's no actionable items. That's one of the biggest things for me. It's like when I teach, I want to teach them. They can leave and they'll be like, this is what you need to do when you leave. Cool. Here's checklist number 1. Here's your cheat sheet number 2. Here's your white paper. Like, they need someone to guide them because it's a scary world, especially when you start talking about advertising on Facebook and on Instagram. Mate, if you jump on the back end and you don't know what you're doing, good luck.
Well,
you're spending $5 per click.
6 years ago, you just boost a post.
Yes.
Press the button. And then they developed that whole back end business Facebook, and then
100%.
Obviously, because that was just going, right, we're making bank, let's make a lot more. And that did confuse a lot of people, and that's what scares people.
But no one has taken the time, well, not no one, I apologise. People aren't taking the time to educate themselves.
No, that's right.
And every day it changes. You know, like, it's like being an athlete and not knowing that, I don't know, that you've got to train harder the next day and that something's going to shift in the rules and then go complain that you got disqualified. Like, you just can't do that. Like, it's just evolving. And my other pet peeve is when people, I guess, get angry about advertising now. And for me, because I built my business on a free platform, I am so happy to give Facebook my money now.
Definitely.
Like, have it, take it. You are welcome because you were so good to me.
And it's so underpriced right now.
It is. It's underpriced attention. Like, you know, it's crazy, but people still don't get it.
No.
And so how do you keep up with, because, you know, algorithms are always changing.
Yep.
Stuff is changing every single day on the platforms. How do you keep up with all of the trends?
I don't pay attention to it. For me, I'm one of those people, I don't get upset if something gets 1,000 likes when it should be getting 5, according to my, 10%. Like, that doesn't bother me. Ever. What bothers me is when people don't comment. I don't like that. But that makes me think, have I written the right copy? Am I engaging with them? Did this post not give them any value? Of course not. It's a picture of hair. I've not engaged with them. I've never asked them a question. I didn't ask them, there was no call to action, or there was no education. So the highest engaging content for us is, when I do my Instagram videos, when I'm teaching people how to do their hair. And that's where I jump on and I try and combat back to every single person that I can, because I just want to thank them.
Did you ever have a specific post that just went viral?
There's heaps.
That's when Natalie Ann became the king of hair social media.
Yes, the first ever which wouldn't be classified as viral, but I'm going to say it's the photo that put me on the map. I was on a photo shoot and like really quickly, I messed up pretty bad on this photo shoot. The photographer got really angry with me. I was like sinking quite quickly. And then he's like, brush it all out. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm like brushing. And photographers in the fashion world, they can be quite scary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like brushing. And then eventually he goes, stop. I go, okay, what am I stopping for? And he's like, okay, let's teach you something about lighting. Shine here, here, and here. And that's where the wave came for me. So, which is what we're known to do.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's our signature type hair. No one knows that it was a complete fuck up on my end. Like, I was about to get fired. But, you know, it was that iconic moment where, I had to try and replicate that wave over and over and over. But I figured to reverse engineer it and get it properly. But then we did that. And that photo went viral.
Mm.
It became the most influential photo in our portfolio and online, and it became, till to this day, I'm going to say, the most requested bridal hair on the face of the planet. I go to weddings today and you don't see blow dries, you see this wave. And it was probably the most impactful, I guess, image ever. I still do that particular girl's hair as well. I recently did her wedding and we laugh about it all the time. She's like, do you remember? I'm like, yes.
Did she have that hairstyle for a wedding?
No, she didn't. No, I think it honestly, like, it curses me. This thing haunts me. But, you know, we've done that many. Now we teach it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where our B2B came in as well. We drove our brand so hard down the consumer throat that they drove it into the hairdressers because we were fully booked. That they were screenshotting and taking our photos, which were watermarked back then, into salons.
So powerful.
So then those salons were like, who's this chick, right? And I was like, hey, new to my business, let's teach. And I was like, cool. Then people were like, can you teach? I was like, sure. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, let's teach now. So rented a venue. I think we were in a hotel or something, God knows where, RSL club. And then, you know, we just started teaching and I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. But I was just real with people. I never lied. I was pretty blunt, to be honest. I was like, this is the way I do it and this is why I do it and this is why it's time effective and cost effective for you. And this is how you can grow your business really quickly because it's better value for money on Saturdays. And it resonated with an audience, and we've grown from there, developed product to better that part of our business, because there was niche there. You know, I was like, I need this, but this is not performing here, so let's, you know, better the product.
Fantastic.
And your products, like, I love your products are amazing.
Thanks.
And I know that they've
use my products.
I've used your products personally. I don't know how to use products. I don't know how to do hair, by the way, so everyone knows. Side note.
But you have lots of people that can help you.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Good.
But your products are amazing. The way, the packaging, like, I'm a marketer and a branding, like, that's my thing.
Yes.
And that's why
Well, thank you. I'm flattered.
I just love your products and I love the way you've marketed it as well. But where to next with your products?
I'm a demand kind of chick, just in case you haven't noticed. So, like, for me, it's like supply and demand. So, like, I really talk to my audience. You know, I allow my hairdressers to tell us things all the time. And I guess we're learning so much through our social media on, I guess, what people want more. I get a lot of requests for thin hair, fine hair, thickening, growth, all of that type of stuff. So I'm kind of researching in that area. I'm not saying that will happen overnight. But I'm really looking at that. So when I ask questions, like, that's where people really how to get my hair longer, like, or it might be flip and it'll be extension and wigs. So it'll, if there's problems, I guess the best thing to do is create a solution.
Yeah,
So, but we're still trying to work through that. The styling range is extremely edited, as you know. And the reasons why we did that is because, I mean, we're self-funded still to this day. So it's not easy. Definitely not easy. And it's not my game. It's actually my husband's game. He does that side of the business. I work on like the product development, marketing and branding, but he's the back end logistics, he really looks after NA Hair Care. That's his child or our child. So that's crazy. There's so much in that I really don't get, and I'm learning along the way. So as it grows, and I think internationally, I would love to see the brand. But we recently went on a PR trip to the US, and it's a big market. Like, the numbers blew my mind. Like, I didn't even know, call me ignorant, but I was like, oh my God, there's so many hairdressers here. Like, even to just facilitate, California, it'd be double 40 million. Awesome. So we're like, we need double, triple our current production.
Jeez.
Yeah, we forget. we forget.
So I'm like, wow.
We forget
how big the world is.
How big the world is here in Australia, because we're
100%.
so isolated, right? And it's part of the reason why Jade and I travel so much, because to really open our minds up.
Yeah.
So your manufacturing side of things, like in terms of the product line, is going well, right?
Yes.
The salon's going well. The socials are going well. Where are you looking to expand? Like, is it the product line, or are you going to do more salons? Where are you going to go?
So, you would know, our biggest problem, I guess, globally as an industry is staff. So no one wants to be a hairdresser, unfortunately, which is sad. And it's a problem because...
And why don't they want to be hairdressers?
I have no idea.
As in, like, the younger generation don't want to...
I don't know. Maybe the
trade.
rock star flavor's gone. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I've asked this question to many different types of hairdressers. And I know so many people that wish they were hairdressers. So I just don't get it. But at the same time, I guess we need to flip it. People talk about the next generation and I guess what their appetite is and why they want to be certain things. Whether they want to be an influencer or... There's so many different new jobs, let's be real.
There is.
And I think the old jobs are being left out, like hairdressers. But you need them, and I hope that we can fix it. But if we don't, I need to obviously work on my other arms of my business, because the salon only operates and we can only scale that part of the business with hairdressers. So we've kind of parked that. We're going to grow it, nourish it, look after it, but it's stable. And I think the growth of that it's basically if we can find staff. The hair care side is amazing, but we're still learning. So again, it's stable, but we're really starting to understand it at scale and what that looks like and what we want. Like, at the end of the day, it's up to us. We want to take it bigger, we can. If we don't want to, we can just be happy with what we're doing. Online education is definitely my next that's my next goal. And I've been looking at a library of pay-per-view education for a long time. There you go, cat's out of the bag, guys, pay-per-view education. So for me, it was, I'm weird with subscriptions, me personally. I don't like subscribing to things, because they're the sort of things that I don't want to, I know already, I like choices, that's me. So I want to give my audience choice, so they can pay per video, so to speak. If they want this particular look, they can buy into it, and if they don't need it. Facebook Live education, that's been going really well for us, where they basically pay for a live session in the comfort of their own home. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours, but they get to basically have that content for the lifespan of, I'm not going to say for life, for the lifespan of Facebook. So that's been really good. And yeah, just working on my team and hopefully just growing them more than anything.
Well, organically, you're just going to grow anyway at the rate that you're going, and with the people that you're surrounded by and the team that you have, it sounds like you're just going to keep growing anyway. Going back to a lot of these millennials not really wanting to be hairdressers anymore and all of that sort of thing, I kind of see like an opportunity for you where you can maybe could be a government incentive where you go in and educate these people in schools. Like we want to do a similar thing here at Luxland, where we go in and teach high school students about financial education, right?
Yep.
About the dangers of credit cards, the differences between assets and liabilities, and all of those sort of things, and how
because they don't really learn there.
They don't know,
No.
right? They don't know things like consumer debt or what's good debt, bad debt, all of that sort of stuff.
Do they even
right?
teach them how to
No,
get an ABN
no,
or a
they
tax file number?
they don't, right?
Okay, cool. Just checking.
They
Thanks,
come here.
school.
They come here for advice,
Did
right?
great for us.
But getting back on point with hairdressing, I think that could be an opportunity there for you. Maybe not now, but later on.
Oh, I'd love that.
Because you're big on education, right? So if you went into the education system,
Yeah.
and you taught a lot of these people, because you said you left school at year 9,
Yeah.
right? Like, so we don't want girls leaving school at year 9 or year 10 and not knowing what to do. Like, hairdressing's a great industry to get into.
Yeah.
Like we own a salon, so we've provided plenty of opportunity to girls and guys as well, like to become hairdressers and earn a good living from the industry. And it'll be sad to see that sort of die off because it's a necessity, like it's...
I think it's, I believe, through generations and people socially conditioned to believe that an apprenticeship is shit. Like, that there is you've got to scrub titles and there's this whole weird old school perception of what an apprenticeship is. For me, an apprenticeship is an internship but getting paid. That's the way they need to... You are learning and working and getting paid for it. Yep. Mate, how good is that?
I think it's great.
I don't understand what the problem is, right?
I think a lot of...
But the pay is low.
Yeah, it's low.
But we don't pay the low bit. We overpay, So, it's not even about that. And people I'm sure people are dying to work for you. I think they're scared of the brand as well. We're getting a lot of that. So again, there's pros and cons to the numbers on social. You become, or you are perceived as this King Kong
Celebrity
type
status,
brand, right? Where people are too scared. We've had people say, I'm not ready yet. We're no, we teach you.
Yeah.
That's the point. You come, come and we will share these things with you. So yes, and I hope that we can. And I have to do my research because I know government's not easy. It's like doing charity. You feel like it's so hard sometimes to even get the charity up and running because they make it so hard. But yeah, I think it's definitely, people through your education, why don't you find people? But I would never poach anyone. That's just not my kind of flavor, because ideally I've created this platform. It's hey, come and work for me. But that person works for you.
Yeah.
And that person works for my friend or my stockist. So it's not that easy. They have to come willingly.
Yeah.
I think I think it's any industry, to be honest. I think, and definitely with millennials need to be inspired now more than ever.
Yeah, because they're smarter.
They are. So it's not about, how much money am I getting paid? It's just about how am I going to be inspired?
Yeah.
Who's my leader? And how is it going to benefit my career? What other fun stuff am I going to be doing? And it's
And
so
they're
alarming.
impatient.
And
So
they're
do you think
impatient.
it's the pitch?
Yeah.
So do you think it's about, I guess, pitching the job in a different way?
Yes.
Could
Flipping
be,
it on its head.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that there's heaps of substance to that. I think that we all, and it doesn't matter what industry that we're operating in, I think that this should apply across all industries. Flip it on its head and inspire people. I think there aren't enough operators out there that are inspiring.
Yeah.
Millennials are running our country eventually, so 100%. I think we need to be thinking about them a lot more.
And they're all on social media.
They are.
Hence why I think most people are shocked when they say I can't find staff, because it's definitely, and I've been we just got back from the US and they have the same issues, so it's not just here. I think it's just in general, but when people say that there's no work, I laugh my ass off, because I'm there's so much work.
If anything, it's going to be
so
an
many
industry that is going to last forever.
Of course.
Everyone needs a
It's a
haircut.
service-based
You need a haircut.
Well,
Yeah. Well, you don't need a haircut. Like I always see, is definitely like a luxury to get your hair done.
of course. Yeah.
But I mean, for you to look half decent, you need a good hairdresser. You know, like it's just
Definitely.
is the way it is.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
Nat, how do you advise people or our listeners out there to launch or develop their personal brand or their business brand on social media? Where would they start?
Like
Okay, let's
very,
just say
very,
they've got
very
one.
beginning.
No, I think more so
Get an iPhone.
get an iPhone. Those people
Definitely an
that
iPhone, not a Samsung. I can't.
Not
help
an
you.
Android.
Sorry, Samsung. iPhone open. But it's.
I think the people that are like they've got a following, they've got a bit of a following.
Yep.
They're really trying to get out there and build a brand and just keep growing their following and making an impact. What would they-
networking.
Yep.
Step 1. Everyone has a friend. I'm sure. Right?
Well,
You know someone. You know
You got us,
someone.
Someone by
Mark. You got
choice.
us, Mark.
Or you can rent a crowd, right? So here's the thing. I think people forget that social media is two parts. You have the social element and you have the media component. And they never separate the two. And they never really understand that the social component, they're so fixated on the media. Like the media, the content, you know, and they forget the social element, you know.
That's a good point.
You have
You've got to
your-
engage.
You have your own business, and I had this conversation in the car actually with somebody who asked me for some advice, and I said, "What's your current database?" And they said 5,000 to 6,000 people. I'm like, "Are you for real?" I was like, "Do you know what that takes for people to build an email database of 5,000 to 6,000
It's
people?"
fantastic.
Right. They're an established company, but they've not been on social for as long. I said, so let's work on your current database because they're your friends, right? And if you didn't have a database, you still have friends. You still have family. Say you're a salon. Say you're a real estate agent. And you have customers that are coming into you already. Then those people is where you start your social media. And you become social with them. You know, you want to be able to follow them. You want to understand them. I don't believe the whole follow for follow thing, but at the same time, you do want to follow your clients because they feel a part of something. They feel connected to you. And it's really understanding your current audience because that's who you're talking to. That's where I would start. And I also would start on one platform. You know, people bite off more than what they can chew. Then they get overwhelmed and then they say it's broken and then they say it doesn't work. I'm like, well, clearly it works. I'm a product of social. So it works. The case studies are there. It does work. Whether it's not working for you, it could be multiple different things. The creative, the copy, the content. No one wants to see your dog if you're a real estate agent. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different variables to it. Personal brand, I think, is important today. You know, in 2018, I'm starting to become more personable. Online, I never used to share anything about myself.
But people are buying into Natalie and
People want to see it.
herself as opposed to just the salon.
Yes, I still get weird. Because if you go through my photos, you can count the amount of selfies, which is very rare in my industry.
True.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like, it's so straight. Like, I know so many people that have built their brands based on themselves being a blogger.
Yeah.
Like, they're a makeup artist / influencer. That's why I don't like the word influencer, because for me, I'm a businesswoman. Like, I built a business, and I've influenced, you know, people along the way, you know, through my craft and skill, not through myself. Like, I've not been the product. I'm not my brand, so to speak, you know. I wasn't doing my own hair. I don't look like my brand. Does that make sense? So I
It's
think
the business that comes first, and then
100%. And you know, for me, there needs to be an element of value. So the biggest problem I feel like when people are first starting, they don't understand that why would someone follow you if you're not giving them any value?
For sure.
It's so weird to me. Like, why do I follow Luxland? I like it because I like your podcast. You add value. I get to engage and understand different entrepreneurs. I like the guy from Titan's Gym. So much respect for the guy now. I didn't even know he existed. Because I'm not a gym
awesome.
person.
Yeah.
But to me, like, I just watched it and I was like, you are cool. I'm going to put you on my list. I'm going to go see you one day.
Love it.
But do you know what I mean? Like, that, you add value to my life, so I'm going to follow you.
I think people forget, though. People become selfish and they just think, okay, it's all about them taking the value rather than putting it out.
There is nothing about social media that is taking anything. Biggest misconception. I don't take anything. Do you know how hard it was for me to ask my clients to purchase my product? And I've been adding value to my clientele for 5 years on social. I'd never asked for anything. Like, I've never put up something and go swipe up. That was so, I remember the first swipe up came back. I was like, no, I can't do this. I was like, no, this is going to give me anxiety. I'm like, no, I'm just going to put another video tutorial up. And then I realized that I didn't need to swipe up. If I was using my product within my own videos, it became super passive and I didn't have to worry about the sale.
Yeah, because you're a giver and you're not a taker.
It's
and that's
weird.
what we try and tell our listeners and our viewers is that, you know, you need to become a producer and not a consumer.
Yes.
Right? And you do need to consume, obviously, you need to consume your clients' content and your network's content to a certain degree.
To understand the market.
Right?
Okay.
But you need to focus the majority of your time on social media in producing that value, right? So you keep putting it out there. And I always say this to my team as well, because sometimes we forget, right? Sometimes we forget and we get so caught up in other businesses or whatever it is that people we're following and all of that sort of thing. And, you know, I spend the majority of my time producing, right? But I remember when I first got on social media, well, it wasn't that long ago, it's only about a year ago now, that I got caught up in just consuming. Like, because you just get comfortable with consuming.
100%.
Yeah. But it gets you nowhere because no one's looking at you, right? You might be liking someone's picture or whatever it is, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
Right? You are giving back in a certain way, but it's not enough.
Yeah, I think there is a big difference between engaging with your marketplace, your industry, your consumers, and then consuming unnecessary content to see what's around you. I have tunnel vision, I believe, on Instagram and on Facebook. You know, people say to me, didn't you see that? I'm like, no, I didn't see anything. I don't consume content that way. I consume content to engage with like audiences. That's what I do. Like, I'm not interested
It's purpose built.
in what my mate's doing down the road. Like,
We don't have time
but that just doesn't interest me.
because you're too busy producing.
And I've always had this phobia or fear subconsciously. I would replicate something subconsciously. Once you consume a certain amount of content, you think it's you, but it's not you, it's someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just happens.
Yeah.
It stores in your brain somewhere and you're like, okay, cool, this is awesome. This has happened before. Your mate did it.
Subconsciously, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
don't realize that you've done it. You know, you can be inspired by somebody, but you definitely want to be an individual. And I think we definitely overconsume content.
Yeah, it's a habit that, you know, a lot of people fall into, and they've got to get out of it and just put their producer hat on and just produce that content. And that's why I'm telling my team more.
I think there's
you
a
know?
phobia around content though. I think the fact that it's called content, people get upset and they don't realize. They think it's full production and da, da, da. I'm like, okay, cool. The selfie is a piece of content, you know, because they don't, at its basic level, I think they don't realize, you know, video testimonials and pictures and written word, and like, there's so many different types of content for different types of people, you know. And I talk to a lot of hairdressers, a lot of clients even. They're like, oh, Nat, don't put me on camera. I'm like, cool. Write something for me so I can put it underneath your photo as a testimonial, because it's important to my business and they want to give back to you because they're happy. So do it. You know, we need to remove the phobia from it in order to see other businesses grow. And I think that's my job, you know, especially after winning this award. It was crazy for me because I feel this pressure to now, like, I don't know, help people or something. Like, it's so strange. Like, I've always felt it, but now I've got this tied to. It's like getting a belt or something, and you feel like you need to carry it
You're
somewhere.
like, right, now I need it.
What-
Now the work begins.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
weird.
Tell us about the award.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
felt
us
like
about
I
the
was
award.
like an actress, and I won an Oscar. I didn't do the whole get up there and be like, I want to thank God.
Was
I
that
really
the
wanted
speech,
to. I didn't want to. No, I didn't do that. And to be honest, I didn't prepare one because I don't know. I think, you've got this idea in your head that things are rigged. Or as you do. But for me, it was an interesting moment. I had my team around me. I invited my mom and dad. That was epic. They were loving it. They'd never been to like anything so fancy in their
Where was that?
life.
Oh, cute.
At Luna Park.
Mhm.
Red carpet, black tie. It's really, really fancy. And I was I was asked to host the red carpet. And I was interviewing. I was more nervous about that. So Kevin Murphy, I don't know if you know him. He's a superstar in our industry. Australian global brand, like worth lots of money. Done very, very, very well. And was a session stylist in Australia. So, he's somebody that I've idolized for many years. And then the next person that I was interviewing was Jen Atkins, who is today, I would probably say one of the most influential hairdressers in the world. Celebrity hairdresser and product developer. So she's a boss. And I had to interview them. So I was like, and I was so nervous, I peed. No. Arthur calls me and he's like, where are you? I'm like, just peed my pants. I've got to go dry or something. I was like so nervous. Everyone's like, you nervous about the award? I was like, no, I've got to interview these people first. And, it was scripted as well. And I don't do that very well. Like, I don't do that. I'm like very live type person. I work better in that environment. So, and then once that was done, I was like, cool, now I have to win my award. So then I won my award and then I have to do a speech. So it was very overwhelming. It was amazing. I didn't realize how many people gave a shit about awards though. From a PR perspective, I'm not going to lie. If you're a business owner, enter awards because it's crazy. It's like clout,
Yeah.
It's like a little notch. People love it. I mean, I haven't changed as a person, but it's nice to be recognized for something that I've been so passionate about for so long. And that was the beautiful part about it.
Well, it's different because you're recognised on social media so much, like every day, right? You're getting these likes and follows and all of those sort of things. And this is
good
something
for you,
different.
Good for your body.
I think
And
definitely
your brain and your ego.
you definitely
and
had
lots of
some
things.
Ego.
It
Ego's
is
important.
fun. It
Ego's
is. And I
important.
think it's got a bad stigma. If you put it into place in the right thing, it's good for you.
I know our girls were super pumped when you won that award. I know that they admire you so much.
But they are so good at what
so
they do.
excited.
But
we have a group chat on WhatsApp, and that was going off that night. And you were like, "Who won what? What?" Doesn't know. We were telling you.
No, he does now.
It's so good that you can
Does
have
now.
that impact on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You
So
have a
good.
positive impact on definitely our girls, and I mean,
I've had an impact on me, like just listening to
Yeah.
the story. It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I've taken a lot of value away from it.
I admire you a lot, Nat, as a businesswoman.
Thank you.
As an entrepreneur, just what you've done with your business, your background story. Like, I think, and I know that there'll be a lot of girls out there, a lot of women out there that'll be highly admired.
I hope so. I think that's one of your questions was purpose. I feel as though my purpose and my journey has led me to definitely, for me, I need to inspire more people, to just get off their bum and do what they really want to do. And every single day, and it's funny, like, once I started to think about it, I don't believe in the whole secret thing, but it's definitely manifesting. Like, I feel as though I'm getting more DMs on people going, well, I've just started my business. I know I'm a florist and you're a hairdresser, but can you help me?
Oh, that's cool.
And it's
Super
the
cool.
most surreal, and I don't think I could make any amount of money that would pay for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most powerful thing I've ever experienced in my whole entire life. And I hope that I can help
Can't
more.
buy that. Yeah.
No, you can't.
Definitely.
Well, it's talking about The Secret, the law of attraction. We talk about it quite a bit on this podcast. I mean, the thing is you've done the work.
Yeah.
You've done the work to attract that. What The Secret is about is sitting on your couch jerking off and just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah,
right?
I don't. The manifesting without the work is what I meant was bullshit. I didn't mean the whole book was bullshit. Yeah. I just meant like, I just don't get like I'm like I feel like it's this. I'm like that's never gonna happen. That's not gonna come to you.
Yeah.
the literal part of the secret.
Yeah.
No, but the law of attraction is great. Like even with us, like I was a very private person. I still am, but you know, like before I jumped onto social media, you know, I had my doubts with putting content out there, and I used to question it. I've always been a really private person. I've never really wanted to put myself out there.
You would never know that now.
Never.
Watching your.
Never.
No, well, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it now.
Yeah.
Right, and but I've had to, like,
but you
for
just
my
gotta
personal
do it,
brand,
right?
yeah, and I've just had to ease myself into it, and I've got a great team who push me very hard.
Yeah, these guys are awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome. And
I feel like you've got your own like D-Rocker.
Yeah,
it's like awesome.
It is.
Can I just say the first person that we've had on our podcast officially knows who D-Rock is?
Are you joking? He's a legend. I love you. Wow.
So back to law of attraction. Yes. So what I was saying, when I put myself out there, I didn't realise the impact that I would have on so many people, right? And I didn't do that. I didn't do it for that reason. But when it starts happening, it makes you feel so good.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's better than money, right? It's just, it's so rewarding, you know, when people watch things like this podcast or they listen to it and they take so much value away from it, 100%. And then they're doing stories about it and all of that sort of thing. It's just, it just makes you feel so good.
Yeah.
You know?
It's this rush that I can't explain. It's like when anytime I'm live, anytime I don't know, do an event, anytime I've finished teaching, you know, I take this like kind of like that whole night. I read everything and consume everything and watch all the like stories and the repeats and it's this high that I can't explain. And I'm addicted to it. It's the weirdest feeling in the world. But I'm obsessed. I'm like, when's the next event? Like, let's do it. I feel like I can take on the world like tomorrow, you know? And I just want that feeling all the time, but then you crash from that as well. Have you ever found that? Or is it just me?
Maybe it's after
Yeah,
a few coffees.
seminar.
No, I promise. It's like this weird thing that happens to me after.
You're getting a natural dopamine high. So
there's like a psychology behind it.
We went to
take another podcast.
We went to GrowthCon in February in Vegas.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm dying to go one of those.
It was totally lit, wasn't it? Like best like 4 days, besides getting married to you, best 4 days of my life. That was the other best 4 days.
Did it go for 4 days? Did you have a traditional wedding?
We eloped.
No.
So we had a good time. But yeah, this GrowthCon was... So I follow Elena and Grant Cardone on Instagram, and she smashes the stories every single day. And she had this post up saying, you know, she was feeling really sad and depressed, and like she was amazing at GrowthCon, right? And she's like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and they were saying like this is just the downer that she was experiencing after like GrowthCon. It was so big, it was like a $9 million production, and they're like, we need to do another one. We need to have that rush.
I'm telling you, it's addictive. It's the weirdest. Would you say dopamine? Is that what it is? So what can I fill my body with?
No, I don't know that far yet.
Thank you. He's like, I will give you the endorphin that's released, but I don't know how you can get it any other way.
I don't have the result.
But it's definitely a rewarding experience, and it's something that, you know, like we always encourage our listeners to do, and because everyone's got a story, right? Even if you're not running a business, like everyone's got this authentic story that they can put out there that someone else can learn from.
Oh, and this is the beautiful part about social media. And I guess I can learn from a 13-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 70-year-old. And I guess everybody has a story and a piece of content that they can share. And, you know, some people are really, really good at it. Some people aren't. But I guess you're going to relate to someone and help someone. That's it.
Yep.
You know, if that's all it is, that's beautiful to me. So,
and it's all about serving others, isn't it? And then, you know, that's what business is all about, I feel. It's just, it doesn't matter if you're selling a product or you've got a service. It's always about serving others. And I always tell my team, you know, don't sell to the client, serve the client.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? If you sell to the client, all you're thinking about is your wallet. Right? But if you serve them, you're just thinking about helping them.
Yeah.
And it becomes a much more rewarding experience. And it's just that mindset shift, right?
Yeah.
And it's what we try and always, we always get our staff to think like that all the time.
Yeah.
Look, thanks so much for coming on board.
You're welcome.
I think we've covered so much.
Yeah.
We've done,
It's
done
been
a whole
amazing.
heap. Yeah.
Good.
And we'd love to revisit, you know, in maybe 12 months time or 6 months time and see where you're at with everything. And,
Yep.
you know, we'll definitely fly your flag, and, you know, it's awesome.
I'm just going to come and hang out with you every week.
Come.
I know you've got, like, obviously got no time with all this stuff happening,
Just
but
come.
I'm just going to come and hang out with you.
Just be.
Buy you coffee.
Just chill
Just
out.
chat. Yeah.
So how do people find you, Natalie?
At Natalie Ann Hair on Instagram and / Natalie Ann Hairstylist on Facebook. Someone took Natalie Ann, it's a long story. And our Snapchat is Nat Ann Hair.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All
Thank
the
you for
best with
having me. I
everything.
really appreciate it. And I love this podcast. I hope it goes for a long, 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 long time.
It will.
Thanks,
Because
Nat.
you guys are like, you know, weekly inspo for us too.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Thank you
awesome.
for your kind words.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much,
guys.
guys. Bye bye.
See you guys.